What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Two in the Zone. You have the one and only the GOAT Dead Press Picks. What is up, my guy? And AC. Thank you, everybody, for jumping back on. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We talk about the NBA. We go through the last night's slate, and then we give you our favorite picks and analysis for tonight's slate. This is all possible made by Seven Stack Sports. You can see that right on the screen. Give them a follow at Seven Stack Sports on Twitter. Dead, I don't know if you have the awesome, odds boost that he's running right now, but if you do, you can tell the listeners about that.
Hey, what's up, everyone? First of all, happy Tuesday. A lot to get into tonight on this NBA slate, but shout out to Seven Stack Sports, guys. Mega odds boost here. So you're going to get a selection of bowl games, okay? So it's Oregon, Oklahoma, that's tonight. Pitt, Michigan State, that's coming up. And then the big two this weekend, Cincinnati, Bama, and Georgia against Michigan. You're going to get any of those games boosted to plus 77 at plus 200 odds. So no one's not covering 77. Essentially, it's free money there. All you have to do is sign up with Seven Stack Sports. DM myself, DM Analytics Capper there on Twitter, or DM Seven Stack Sports on Twitter to get set up. Say you were sent over from Two in the Zone. So please, guys, take advantage. Any of these teams plus 77 on the spread with plus 200 odds. So please do take advantage of that.
Dead, you've been rocking like the light blue the last couple times. I love it.
I know. I picked up some new gear for Christmas, so I'm trying to go with the powder blue theme. Good luck for us last time. I see we crushed a lot of the show plays, so we got to keep the vibes up.
All right, let's get into last night's slate here. There were a lot of games. There were 3, 6, 8 games last night. I only had one game. I lost. I was on the Timberwolves plus 5.5. They ended up losing by 8. They're pretty close, but I'm trying to keep volume down, trying to pick my favorite game. But let's go ahead and go through last night. So the Bucks won pretty easily, 127-110. They actually almost blew it at the end in terms of the cover there. Were you following this at all?
I did follow this one. I had a hard lean on the Bucks, AC, so I was leaning with them. I was thinking to myself, okay, good, you lucked out not pulling the trigger on that game because it looked like they were going to blow it. But got to give a shout out to Franz Wagner last night, 38 points, the youngest Magic player to ever score 30 points, and that's considering some great players. Obviously, Shaq, Tracy McGrady, they've had a few great players, believe it or not.
Then look at you going back to Shaq.
I know.
Man.
I was a baby then, right? But a lot of great players have come through that organization, and great game from him. But we know the Bucks. They say we've said it all year. One of the best teams in the East, despite a little bit of struggles early in the season. They've been great. The last couple of weeks.
Yeah, some amazing balance here. Giannis with 28, Chris Middleton 21, Drew Holiday 18, Bobby Portis with 19, and Patrick Connaughton with 10. So 5 guys in double figures. That's a lot of depth there. Hard to beat a team when they have 5 guys scoring more than 10 points. All right, next game here we have Miami Heat. They took care of business, 119-112. Another high-scoring game. Are we getting these totals to get high again?
I'm hoping, because I'm a big under guy, but I mean this was another one last night. Like you said, the totals stayed high, right? The Heat, they did not cover that, correct? Yeah, -8. So that I didn't follow this one super close, but every time I look at a Heat box score, I see Tyler Hero is just filling up.
He's balling, man. I'm in the cards. Tyler Hero cards are popping right now.
I was gonna say, how's the Tyler Hero rookie card?
Popping.
It's going off.
Yeah,
I'd have to imagine. So, and you got to give credit to the Heat, right? Because they're winning these games without some of their players. Last night, rim protection we thought was going to be an issue. It was, right? The Heat don't usually go up 112 points, but they're down Bam Adebayo still. Dwayne Dedmon was out of the lineup. This is a team who was, on their third center last night. So you got to give them credit there for still getting the job done. They didn't get the cover, so they didn't get the betting side of it done. Kind of blew that 11-point. Wizards outscored them by 11 in that fourth. So really good cover if you had Washington last night.
I think our boy Alpha had Washington, so he's probably happy.
Shout out Alpha, baby.
Shout out. All right, next game here. Your team, 114-109 over the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. This was it was between the over in this game and the Timberwolves. I chose the wrong one. I wish I had done the over here, but Shout out to your guy, Tobias Harris, first ever career triple-double, 19, 12, and 10. Like I said in the last one, I think Philly's about to go on a run, man. So how do you feel about your team?
I've been down them a little bit, AC, despite, they do seem like they're turning the corner a bit. This was one of my plays that I had. I went 2-0 on the NBA last night. First half under, AC. Thank God it didn't go full game. I would have been upset. But that first half under actually flew under. It went 8 points under, and that was with a little bit of a surge there in the last 30 seconds too. But, I mean, got to give credit, to the Sixers for taking care of business. They're getting healthier, and they were able to get the win last night.
All right, next game here. LeBron James was the starting center for the Lakers last night. Not a big deal because the Rockets starting center was Christian Wood, so it's not like there was a huge, size advantage there. But LeBron, he just surpassed 36,000 points. He's number 3 all-time on the list. He ended the night 32, 11, and 11. Another triple-double for him, as well as Russell Westbrook. They win 132, 123. They finally cover. Do you think this is kind of their recipe? It's like they just got to go high scoring and just get on the fast break.
It could be, right? Because their lack of shooting has been an issue all season. It's trying to find a lineup that meshes with LeBron and Westbrook on the floor, because Westbrook, a great playmaker, but obviously not a great shooter. And as dominant as LeBron is, he's never been known purely for his shooting, right? He's more so he can do it, but that's not his style. So they got to figure it out there. I've been tough on them all year. I was tough on them coming into the year. But anytime you have LeBron James on your team, you're going to be in contention no matter what. And during this run, this absence of Anthony Davis, LeBron has been the best player in the NBA the last few weeks, right? He's put himself back in that discussion, I think, for an MVP type of discussion. He's been dominant in the absence of Davis. And, he's trying to keep the Lakers afloat without AD. But look at this, AC. Good loss for us last night, right? For that team total under on the Rockets. We're not giving up yet.
Yeah, that's very good. Good point there. All right, next game here. I mentioned it already. I was on the Timberwolves for one small unit. I lost here. They lost 96-88 at home in Minnesota. I actually thought Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo were playing. And then 2 hours before the game, even though they're out of COVID protocols, they decided not to play. I'm low on this Knicks team. I mean, props to them for covering, but they still only, scored 96 points here. We're both kind of low on the Knicks, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I took them, like I told you before, no playoffs preseason. Got really good odds at that. Still think that bet will cash. The thing with the Knicks, though, maybe a silver lining for them early in the year is the Kemba Walker, kind of the resurgence of him. But I mean, does that make Tom Thibodeau kind of look like an idiot, right? For at the same time taking him out of the lineup. So a lot of questions there. That was an ugly game last night, 96-88. That's an old-fashioned NBA, I guess, right? The low scoring. I was looking at the leading scorer for the Knicks, and it's Mitchell Robinson with 14. Not often do you see a guy with 14 be the leading scorer, but you mentioned it for the Wolves. Down a lot of guys. It's a win that they should have had. So give them credit where it's due.
All right, this next game here, the Cavs, they've been the darling, the Cinderellas of the NBA. It hasn't even been close, right? They've been the number ones, against the spread team all year long. They actually lose last night, 104-108. That's after just coming out guns blazing and was leading by 20 in the first half. The big news here is Ricky Rubio. I haven't seen any reports today, but I did see that it was a potential, serious knee injury. It was non-contact, so that's kind of that's tough for them. Losing Sexton and potentially Rubio for the year. I think I'm with you here. You've been calling this kind of regression with Cleveland now for, I guess you've been early for 2 months, but it could be coming now with Rubio out.
Yeah, I mean, looked bad for him last night. You see, that was a blown game too. I saw a ton of people on the Cavs last night. Super public play at -3, but tough one for them for sure. It looked like a game that they were gonna kind of breeze to a cover in that first quarter, and they just laid an egg, especially in that fourth quarter. But Pelicans, I mean, I keep saying this, and it's crazy to me, but
without Ingram too.
Yeah, they've kind of been playing good basketball. And the craziest thing, again, and I feel like I say this every episode we have, they're 2 games out of a play-in spot. So, I understand the Zion weight issue, right? People don't know if he'll come back and be what he was. But they're gonna get healthier. They're gonna get Zion and Ingram back, and I mean they're gonna have a shot to get into a play-in game position as the season goes on, with the West not being too strong at the bottom.
Props to Herbert Jones here, guy from Alabama. He was actually the leading scorer for the Pelicans. 26 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 10 for 18 from the field. So props to him and the New Orleans Pelicans. This surprisingly was the lowest scoring game of the night, right? We have two pretty high powerful offenses, Nuggets and Warriors. The Nuggets won on the road, 89-86. Kind of surprising here.
Very, very surprising. That game was also, you talk about ugly. I mean, another really low scoring game. I believe this was just the second time all season that these teams have both scored under 90 points. Steph early on just didn't seem like he could get going. I mean, he ends up with 23 points. I saw everyone on Twitter freaking out, acting like it was worst game of his career. He's still at 23 points, right? Like that's when you know you're good, when you shoot 6 for 16 and people are going crazy. He was impressive, in the game late. Last shot of the game, it was Iguodala 3. It was just ugly, right?
Iggy shot a 26-foot 3-pointer, 24 feet.
Didn't hit anything. Yeah. It was bad. But, I mean, really impressive win for the Nuggets coming in on the road. We knew Draymond was out. But this Nuggets team, they continue to just be a gritty team, AC. Like, as the season's gone on, injuries, we know Jamal Murray was going to be out for a long time. But the Michael Porter Jr., I mean, that was a real killer for them. No Aaron Gordon last night, and they still go into Golden State and get a win, big-time win from Michael Milan and the Nuggets.
Yeah, Jokic with 22 and 18. The Nuggets in the second half as a team only scored 29 points total in the second half.
And they won,
still won that game. Final game here, Thunder, Kings, high-scoring affair, which is expected. 117-111, Sacramento pulled it out. Any thoughts here before we get into tonight's slate?
Well, this gave me the modest 2-0 NBA sweep, AC. Lou Dort under 19.5 points. He landed on 19. So I was getting good breaks last night. You knew I had that first half under 2 that I did not deserve, but I got. And Dort last night, it was a sharp line. He landed on 19. He had like 8 points in 2 minutes into the game. He came out smoking hot, but he was able to cool off, and that got us there. Another good win for the Kings. We talked about that playing game. Like, the bottom of the West is wide open. That 9th and 10th spot right now is filled by the Spurs, who we know haven't been, great this year. It's filled currently by teams who are playing sub 500. The Timberwolves also fill in at the 9th spot. So that even that 8th seed, like, it's going to be up for grabs. I really believe that 8 through 10 is wide open in the West, with the exception of the Thunder and the Rockets.
I agree, and we kind of like the Spurs, right, as a team. So hopefully they get in there, get that over team total wins that we've been on. Mm-hmm. All right, man, let's get into tonight's slate. I know this is what everybody's waiting for. We have 10 minutes left, so let's do it, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's try and breeze through this one, AC. So we got the Knicks and the Pistons tonight from the Motor City. The Knicks minus 7.5. The Pistons were bad, AC, but they are just getting worse. Cade Cunningham out, Trey Lyles out, Corey Joseph, Josh Jackson. Who's even playing for the Pistons at this point?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're 5-27 on the season. They've lost their last 3. I don't like backing the Knicks. This spot for me is still Detroit, even though they are a terrible team, like you said. I lean Detroit here, 7.5 points at home. You're never gonna find me backing the Knicks. I'm not a hater when it comes to the Knicks. I just think that there's just no value with a team like the Knicks, just like the Cowboys, just like the Lakers. Right. So I lean Pistons here. What about you?
I'm going under here, AC. I just don't know how the Pistons are going to score. I don't know where it's going to come from. 214.5. I think it's a pretty good number. I kind of had it closer to like 208, 209. So it's actually almost 6 to 7 points under where I thought. A little bit too high. I think it's high because, how are the Pistons also going to get stops? But we know the Knicks, they don't really score, a ton. At times they can go on some droughts. I'm going to roll the dice here, AC, and I'm going to go with the under. All right, Hornets and Pacers. Pacers minus 3.5, the total 227. What do you got on this?
They've burned me so many times in the past, but I'm gonna still ride up with them. Give me the Pacers tonight. It's pretty strong lean. I don't know if it's an official play yet, but I do like the Pacers tonight to cover that 3.5. I don't think they should be favored. I actually think Charlotte should be favored. they've been playing much better. They have the better record. They've won the last 2 games. So the fact that the odds makers have this as a Pacers 3.5-point favorite at home, to me, is a tip that it's an Indy play. What about you?
Yeah, and I don't do this often, AC, but I'm saying over here, and I do not bet overs often. I think this thing actually flies over. It's 227. Both these teams can score. We know the Hornets, they don't play much defense. I think the total's a little bit too low in this spot. I think it stays close where we can get some fouls at the end to push us over. I like the over in the Hornets and the Pacers at 227. All right, we're going to head to TD Garden here. The Clippers will travel east and battle against the Celtics. Celtics -6.5. Clippers injuries all of a sudden. Now Paul George is going to be out for a little bit of time. They're back to playing 500 basketball. Do you think the Celtics take care of business tonight, laying 6.5? Celtics also worth noting, coming off 2 losses. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I do. I do think Boston bounces back tonight. This is a rematch from a couple weeks ago. The Clippers pulled it out in LA when it was a Celtics read that game as well. So I think the Celtics, it's a great bounce back spot for them. As far as totals, that's I don't really have a read on that. Maybe you do, Dad, but I do like the Celtics, man.
Yeah, this is a spot I'm gonna go back to my Celtics first half. I backed them against the Cavs -3 in the first half. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I think they come out in this one pretty hot, AC. I think they do take care of business in it early. Clippers, they're just so depleted, right? Now they have to travel east after a couple games this week. Give me the Celtics at home, first half -3. All right, the Hawks and the Bulls are going to battle it out again. The Bulls -8 tonight. Hawks, again, they've just been depleted. The COVID, the injuries, haven't really been able to get their whole team together. These teams just played in Atlanta on Monday night, and the Bulls won by 12. Do you think they get a cover and a win again tonight here? This time it will be, again, in Chicago, in the Windy City.
Yeah, I think people are starting to realize the Hawks are just not a really good basketball team. I know they're going through a lot of injuries, COVID and all of that, but everyone expected them to take a huge step forward after last year's success in the playoffs. I know I did. But the Hawks are really inconsistent this year. Trae Young is back, right? This is his second game back. Cam Reddish has been balling without the starters. So you have Cam, Trae, and I think Bogdanovich is still going to play. So, I mean, that's 3 starters that you have there. That it's a lot of firepower. And then, like, with the other team, with the Bulls, it's tough to fade them, man. Like, their big 3 is rolling. DeMar DeRozan, best fourth quarter player in the league. Like, we've talked about that many times. But it's a lot of points, Dad. I don't know. What do you think?
It is a lot of points. And I'm a big time regressional better, when a team just plays and beat up. Thing is, I don't think I can get to it with this Hawks team you mentioned. I mean, they were struggling COVID issues. This is a question that I had, the AC. Do you think, we just got it in the comments, do you think the Hawks will make the playoffs this season? Tough question here. It is worth noting they're currently 11th, so they're a half a game behind the Knicks for a play-in game. Remember, the top 6 make it, then 7 through 10, they do the play-in. It gets a little complicated, like 7. You could lose a game and stay in. A lot has to happen, but what do you think? Do you think the Hawks get back on track and ultimately make the playoffs this season?
Yeah, I'm looking at the standings here. I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, if you personally don't think the Knicks are making it, then obviously the Hawks would probably take their spot, right? So even though they're sitting at 11, they're only 2.5 games out of 6. So if they win 5 in a row, they're going to be in 6th place. No, pretty easy. Cleveland, you expect them to drop, right, with Rubio potential pending injury there. So I think there are a couple teams there, from Cavs, the Knicks, maybe the Wizards, to drop off a little bit, which would allow the Hawks to get into the thing. If I had to bet today, I think it's great value, right? They still have a lot of talent. They still have Trae Young, good coach, and Nate McMillan. So I would say that it's a good chance they'll make it.
Yeah. I think that, again, we were just talking about this in the West. I think the East, with the exception of the Pistons and Magic, anyone can get into that top 10. As you get tighter there, the Raptors, Pacers, those types of teams, they can make a run as this season goes on. So keep an eye out for them as well. AC, we'll reset the room real quick. Shout out to our sponsor, 7 Stack Sports, doing a mega odds boost at the moment, plus 77 on bowl games. We'll tweet this out again. You can get any of the following teams at plus 77. We'll put the games out for you guys. But one of those games is tonight, Oregon, Oklahoma. If you want free money, you get the odds of plus 77 at plus 200 odds. DM myself and a Laser Capper or 7 Stack Sports to hop on this great promotion from 7 Stack
I'll
Sports.
take it even a step further. I'll take it even.
What do you got?
You sign up. Yeah, if you sign up with 7 Stack Sports, start a 3-way conversation with me and Dead, right? Screenshot that you sign up with them, and then we'll give you free VIP. So, like, go ahead, sign with 7 Stack Sports, and we'll give you free VIP. That means there's bowl games, NFL games this weekend, basketball, hockey's back as well. So definitely do that. That's free money from both ends.
Love that, AC. All right, let's move along here. We have a few games to go. We appreciate all the comments in the Twitter space. Make sure you guys leave any. We'll try and get to any questions if we can at the end. We have about 9 minutes left. The Thunder and the Suns tonight, AC. Thunder on a back-to-back. The Suns, I don't want to say they're, going cold here on us, but they have out of character lost back-to-back, right? 14.5-point favorites tonight. Thunder, they're down some guys. Baisley, Giddey's been out. So they're a little depleted on an already bad roster. Did the Suns just blow them out tonight and get back to business?
The Suns have not covered in 3 games. I thought they were going to bounce back last game against Memphis and cover that 7.5. Now the spread is double, right? So it's hard. I think it's still a Suns play. They're the way superior team. They have most of their guys. One thing to note is DeAndre Ayton is out, which is a big key to their, not only on offense, but he protects the rim very well. And then Jay Crowder is one of their closing 5. So they have potentially one of their, more clutch players out in Jay Crowder. So that definitely hurts them. But I don't think this game is going to be close. I don't think, they're going to need a lot of clutch moments at the end. So to me, it's a Suns play or nothing at all, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you here. I think they blow them out, honestly. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Suns. We know how dominant this team is typically, and despite that they've been struggling a little bit past couple games, it's going to happen during the season, right? It's a long season.
For sure.
Lakers, Grizz. We were just talking about the Lakers last night, now back-to-back. What do you think about this game? -5.5. Grizzlies also coming off that big win over the Suns where John Morant hit that walk-off shot. Give me your thoughts on this. Grizzlies laying 5.5 at home.
This is an interesting game. This is a rematch from a couple weeks ago. That was a game where Memphis had nobody. They had none of their starters, and they beat LA by 13, and LA had everyone back. LeBron, AD, Russ. This was on the 9th of December, I think. So I think the Lakers get revenge tonight, Dad. Like, I know the line right now is steaming towards the Grizzlies, which makes sense. Ja is back. They're playing well. Really impressive win in Phoenix. Game winner by Ja. Lakers struggle basically every game just to get a W. This is the second night of a back-to-back. LeBron just played heavy minutes. Russ just played heavy minutes. But I just have this feeling that the Lakers cover and win outright as a 6-point underdog tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one, AC, where I think that the Grizzlies do take care of business. Just like you said, back-to-back here for the Lakers. Tough spot. Give me the Grizz in this game. All right, a few more games to get to. Jazz and the Blazers. Blazers, man, they have just 13-20. Like, I understand CJ's been out. Dame's missed some games, Eric's missed some games. I get it, but everyone's missed games this year, right? Especially this season with COVID. 13-20. They're back at home tonight, and they are a 7-point dog against the Jazz. What's your thoughts on this one? I think the Jazz, again, no Donovan Mitchell, right? So still -7. What do you think of this?
Yeah, even though the Jazz has won 4 straight, they haven't covered in 6 games. So 0-6 in the last 6 ATS. They're a road favorite tonight. There's no CJ like Dad said. No Nurkic. No, Covington is out. Dennis Smith Jr. is out. So a lot of guys are out for Portland. I think they are obviously not as deep as Utah. So a loss of Donovan Mitchell hurts, but not as much as what Portland is going through. I think Utah takes care of business, man. I think they finally cover. I know it's a public play. Blazers are struggling, even at home, but I think Utah does it, man. Are you on the other side?
No, I'm in alignment with you. I can't back the Blazers at the moment. It's a stay away game for me, to be honest. I don't think I would go near this game Total's intriguing at 228.5. I do think you could go under. Just don't know about the volume that the Blazers would be able to score, but they also don't play defense, which makes it a scary play. All right, final game of the night here, AC. Mavs and Kings. Kings, again, on a back-to-back, but they are a 2.5-point dog at home. I like the Kings here. Thinking about fading your Mavs. What's your thoughts?
We're going to be opposite on that game, but we do have a comment here on the live Twitter. Alpha Dog Sports asks, do you think Portland's lack of big men will be the difference? As far as tonight, yeah, I mean, that's basically every night, right? Portland's going to be undersized every single game. Utah has the two-headed monster and Gobert and Favors, but I think it's more than that. I just think there's something wrong with Portland. Chauncey's out too as head coach. He's in COVID protocols himself. So just a lack of leadership. They don't have a really good identity in Portland. So Utah knows exactly what they are. They're drive and dish, a lot of three-pointers, and then they suck all the, on defense, they suck everyone to the interior to Rudy Gobert. So they know what they are. Portland doesn't. That's why I like Utah. As far as this game tonight, we're on opposite here, Dead. I know it's a public game. Mavericks, steaming road favorite, but I think they've actually been playing a lot better without Luka, allowing some of their, second string guys kind of excel and exceed. So like Jalen Brunson, he's been balling. So give me the Mavs tonight. If you don't like that -2.5 number, I think there is value in the money line, but Dad's going to tell you otherwise.
Yeah, I am going to go against. I mean, the no Luka narrative just it makes me love the Kings, and the Kings are starting to play a little bit better basketball.
Yeah.
Again, they got Richaun Holmes back now, which is a big improvement inside. I like this Kings team. I like them coming in the air. It's a very talented roster. Just needed a better coach. I think the Kings are going to be a team to keep your eye on, maybe making a run at that play-in spot in the West.
Yeah, I did misspeak earlier when I said Gobert and Derek Favors. I mean Hassan Whiteside. Whiteside's been balling, man. Kind of like Drummond for the Sixers. When he gets the amount of minutes and usage, Whiteside's been accumulating a lot of stats. So, yeah, yes. I did mean Hassan there.
All right, AC, our final minute or two, the best bets. Our last episode, we had that clean sweep. Can we run it back tonight? It would be big, so we're going to give you guys our two favorite picks of the night. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go with the Knicks and Pistons under, guys, to kick us off. Love this, 214.5. Think it's a number that's just too tall for the lack of offense that the Pistons will present tonight. AC, what do you got?
Man, that's tough. I'm going to go with another over. You mentioned it earlier. Okay. Hornets are an over team. They don't play any defense. They play really, really fast, give up a lot of threes. If each team make double-digit threes tonight, which I think it's going to happen, I like the Hornets Pacers over 226.
Love it. I love that play. All right, my second one, guys, I'm going to go to. I'm going to stick with the Celtics first half here, -3. Might be 3.5 some places, so try and shop that line. Clippers are depleted, man. I think it's a great bounce-back spot for the Celtics. Coming off back-to-back losses, so give me Boston first half -3. AC, what's your final best bet for tonight's slate?
Man, I'm gonna stay in the same hemisphere here. I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I know they're a road dog. They just played last night, opposite of you, Dad. But I think I just have this feeling that the Lakers are gonna win outright tonight. There's no statistics to back it up. They've been a terrible ATS team all year long, but I think there's revenge on their mind. They got embarrassed by Memphis a couple weeks ago. I think they get it tonight.
All righty. All right. Well, thank you to our sponsor, 7 Stack Sports. AC, let's give a pick for this game. I don't know if you have one, so we're not going to put each other on the spot here, but Oklahoma and Oregon. Do you have anything on this bowl game tonight? Because we can do a boost on this game. Remember, guys, if you're watching,
tell the guys what the boost is again.
Yeah, if you're watching, you can get Oregon at +77, Oklahoma at +77, and you get +200 odds. All you have to do is sign up with 7 Stack Sports. It's insane. DM myself, DM Analytics Cap, or DM 7 Stacks on Twitter. They will hook you up. Please, 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 please take advantage of this awesome promotion. But I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to take them +77, but I also want some more money. So what's your thoughts? Oregon or Oklahoma here tonight?
So I don't think Oregon's really good. I think they've been pretty overrated. I thought they were going to go through the Pac-12 pretty easily. I think they started like 4-0, 5-0 on the year, and then they got, their socks knocked off by Utah twice, I think. So Oregon to me is an overrated team. Oklahoma with their QB situation, Rattlers, in the transfer portal and leaving, I think, to South Carolina was the latest news.
Yes.
But I don't like OU either. They give up a lot of yards on defense. They average 38 points on offense, which is great, but they don't play really good defense in the Big 12. I think the value here is OU, Dead. I think is Oregon. I think Oregon +7 is the play here, man. What about you?
Sidewise, I'm in alignment. I'm going to go for a scary one here, under 64. I'm going to hold my breath on this. Yeah. It's a tall number, and Oklahoma's defense isn't great, but they're better than what we've seen before. Oregon is a very challenged offense throwing the ball. Like they like to run it, so I think offensively we'll see a little bit of regression from the Ducks tonight. I don't even know if it's regression because they just haven't been great all season, but give me the under there. But hey, let's just take the +77 AC and call it a day with
77. I love it. Free money, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Had a ton of people popping in on the episode, a bunch of comments. We do appreciate all of you. Again, thank you to our sponsor, 7 Stack Sports. Give them a follow on Twitter. Give them a shout in the DMs to get hooked up with an account, and especially tonight for the awesome odds boost. We will see you guys Friday afternoon. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.